Hi fourth graders, I'm so excited to walk you through our recorder. Before we begin, I want to just give you some basic outlines about the recorder. The first is, make sure this always returns
to your backpack.
Second thing is, we always want to make sure we're respectful with this, because as fun as it is to learn how to play, and I love the recorder, it can make some unpleasant sounds from time to time. So we want to make sure we get permission about if it's okay to play. And we also want to make sure we are playing and practicing most of the time in a quiet, independent place in your house. So your bedroom with the door closed, the basement with the door closed, outside, any of those places. And then common spaces in your house when you feel really prepared. So here's my recorder. It came with a couple of things. This is something that I think you might want to keep in there just because it's helpful to identify. You're going to want to write your first and last name on it because everybody's got the same one. So if you've got a silver Sharpie or a gold Sharpie, even a black Sharpie would work, but write your first and last name right here on the green case, and then write your first and last name in this area above the silver ring. If you go below the silver ring, it's gonna get wiped off. So Sharpie, and it'll probably wear off over time. But just for now, first and last name right here. That way, when these all come back to school, they don't get lost. Now, you also received 2 books that came with your recorder. The first was the Recorder Karate book, and I'm gonna explain a little bit more about that in a little bit. The second is your Cool Tunes book. The Cool Tunes songs are songs that we will do together in class. We will be learning those songs during music time and playing them together as a class together. The Recorder Karate is something that is more independent for you to do outside of music time if you want to earn these belts. And by belts, I mean little colorful ribbons, and I'll show you in a moment. So I know you're all really excited to play, and this is the hardest thing about recorder. How we play is so important because if we don't play it correctly, it's gonna end up not sounding so awesome. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to run your finger from this top of the mouthpiece down. And if it's not really hitting those holes, you might wanna just take it and kind of twist it so that you can see it really lined up, so it's very centered. The holes should be right under where it says MIE Renaissance, right there. The second thing that Mrs. Johansson will always be a stickler about is how we hold it. Put up both thumbs for me and pointer fingers to the sky. And the one that's the actual L, not the backwards L, that one goes behind her back. The L hand, that's my left hand. And this is the trickiest part. I'm right-handed, many of you are also right-handed, but we're gonna have to get in the habit of left hand on top. And it's important that we have left hand on top because eventually when we learn how to play these keys down here, our pinky will only reach on this side. If I have my right hand on top, my pinky doesn't reach that hole. Do you see right there? It doesn't cover it. And I have big grown-up hands. So that's why we have left hand on top. It's so important. So the first thing I want us to learn how to do is how to cover the holes. We make sure we press nice and hard that we get these juicy recorder warts, ooh, as we press. So you've got to really give it a good squeeze. It's gonna feel a little uncomfortable. It's not gonna feel amazing, but you'll get used to it. You'll see that pressure. My fingertips are almost turning white there, and my thumb too, because I'm really giving it a lot of pressure. The more pressure means I've got a good seal over the hole. I want a good seal because leaks mean squeaks. So if I've got air leaking out of this hole right here, I'm gonna get a squeaky tone. The other thing I wanna make sure that we understand is when we hold it, we want our fingers to be the fat, flat part of our finger. I'm not gonna use my fingertips and curve my fingers over the holes. I'm gonna get a lot of leaks that way. I'm gonna hold it so that my fingers are fat and flat, the fat, fleshy part of my finger, and I want them to be mostly flat as I press down. Fat and flat fingers. That's the basic way that we're holding it. So let's review. L, I've got my left hand L. I put the thumb on the thumb hole on the back, nice and firm. I'm pressing now here And now I'm just got my top finger over the very top hole. Now before we make any sound, I know you're all really excited to do that, less is more with the recorder. And we start and stop our sound with a duh instead of going, we never want to blow into it like this without the tongue going duh, duh, duh. That's because we'll get too much air. The duh sound is going to help control the flow of air. So put your hand in front of your mouth and I want you to say duh, duh, duh in front of your hand. Go, duh, duh, duh. Did you feel the temperature on your hand? What did it feel like? If it was nice and warm, that's exactly what we are looking for. So now say it again. Duh, duh, duh. With me one more time. Duh, duh, duh. Now, believe it or not, we even need less air than that to make a good tone on the recorder. So now whisper that duh for me. Duh, duh, duh. Did you feel the air flow increase on your hand and maybe feel a little more warmth? That's about what we're gonna want. So now, with my right hand, you might be like, what am I supposed to do with it? I always say balance it. Take that thumb and slide it down so it's able to give you some support. If I have it on my chin, I can really see that it's anchoring it here. But that way I've got it really just nice and supported so it's not gonna wiggle too much. It gives me some stability. So in a moment, I'm going to go da, da, da into my recorder and you're gonna echo me. Here I go. Now you try. Let's try a little longer note. Now you. One more. Let's do that one more time. Again, check your fingers. If you had a squeak, and you may have, and it's okay, we're all learning this together. If you had a squeak, it's likely because you don't have good, juicy recorder warts. Check your fingers out. It's also probably because you were blowing too hard. Just a nice da, da, da. You have to start and stop the sound with the tongue instead of, if I try to blow in it like this, it's, ooh, that didn't sound pleasant, did it? And if I don't have my fingers flat and flat, I'm also not gonna have the right pitch there. By the way, this top hole with my thumb is note letter B. This is B. So we're gonna echo again. Let me try one more time. First me, then you. And da, da. My turn. My turn. Fantastic, how exciting. Okay, so here's the bit about Recorder Karate. Recorder Karate is an independent paced program where you can decide if you want to push forward with Recorder, then you can keep going through this book at your own pace and submit videos to me through activities I'll assign. And that will be one color for every song. You have to go in order, that is the one rule. So the first song is the one I'm gonna play for you right now, Hot Cross Buns. And if you play that correctly, in my records, I will keep a chart. And when we're back together, I'll make sure you get a binder clip and then the white belt to start. And it goes kind of in the order of the rainbow: white, yellow, orange. I know that's a little different. Green, purple, blue, red, brown, and then black. And this binder clip with the belts lives on your zipper to give it a little bit more bling. And it also helps you kind of be able to know, oh, that was mine, because I know I'm up to the green belt if you're with some friends. So that's how we earn our belts. And when you are going to submit those videos to me,
you will email me at kjohansson@wscloud.org.
If you don't want to complete those activities, it's okay. It's an independent-based program. So just so we all know how Mrs. Johansson is going to make sure that you earn that white belt, I'm looking for very specific things. You're not gonna get it if you don't follow all of these. The first thing is, am I holding my recorder with my left hand on top? I tell a lot of kids, please redo that video because their right hand was on top. I can see. So we want to make sure with my L, my left hand is on top. And here's how the song Hot Cross Buns begins. If I played those correct notes, correct pitches, and left hand on top, I earn my white belt. So that's Hot Cross Buns.